And we are live on the wrong screen, but it'll work. I'm Josh Engleman. This is The Process. It's Wednesday, January 25th. Here to break down a 10-game NBA slate. It's too many games. It really is. It's been so calm as of late. We haven't had these monsters. But yet here we go for 10. We are going to be here for quite a while. Buckle up, everybody. We're putting in work for today. Thank you for being here. Good morning to everybody that's in chat. Always great to see everybody. Glad yesterday's slate is in the rear view. Didn't go well for me. Thanks, Tyler Hero. That one didn't help all that much. Just didn't have the pieces yesterday, unfortunately. Could have used a little bit less out of LeBron in that late game also. So we're going to have a lot to talk about. Like I said, 10 games. I am not on the strategy show today, so I really don't care how long this one takes, but, we'll try to get out of here by 8 o'clock at the very least. Glad you're here, though. Guys, make sure you're hitting that like button. That's what we need the most. 8-game. Let's see. I have a new idea for a short segment for the process. How about recommended tournament format for DraftKings and FanDuel, kind of like you had for the Bankroll Challenge? Mike sounds off. Let's see. You are right. There we go. Now my mic should sound a little bit better. Let me know if that changes for you guys. Apologies. It switched to my MacBook mic instead of this mic. I don't know how that ever happens. None of these cables move. Nothing changes. It's always here. So I should sound a little bit better, Alan. 8-game. I don't know what you mean. So I'm popping that up on the screen. Recommend tournament format. Are you talking just like contest selection? Apologies for the early mic stuff, by the way, guys. Yeah, not sure what you mean there, 8-game. Unless you do mean contest selection. Whew, man, we are going to have a lot to break down. We are going to have quite a bit to break down. All right, my watch is charging. My phone is charging. I think I'm ready to just get it started, and I'm mostly okay. I mean, contest selection in the NBA is just difficult in that, and as I'm looking at things more and more, I'm at a point now where I don't really care. I don't really think there's a huge difference in payout structures for any of these contests that are actionable to anyone. I think it's simply just the style of lineup you need for each contest. Like you're obvious, like the smaller the contest, obviously the chalkier you can afford to be. The more top heavy the contest is where you want to start working in a play that can unlock you to the top in a little bit easier of a fashion. And you're just sort of balancing those two. Like to separate those the more that I'm thinking about this, the mid-tier contests, the stuff that'll have like a 5K to first type stuff, like it's all sort of the same. Unless you're getting into these contests where you're on FanDuel and there's like 100,000 entries or something like that, where you're going to be playing a slightly different way. I think it's just all sort of the same, and it's probably been overblown, by myself included. So I appreciate the thought, though. I need to move some shoes up. Hold on. There we go. Fill in the blank spots. All right, let's get it started because we have 10 games to talk about. It's time for coffee. I hope you guys have a coffee or at least some sort of breakfast treat. Coffee, tea, Crunchwrap Supreme, whatever you need. It's rise and grind time, everybody. That's what matters most. So let's get it started. Cheers, guys. Aces. Also, shout out to BetMGM. We will talk about the BetMGM deal in a bit once we get to what am I working on? What was I just about to say? Oh yeah, BetMGM. We're gonna do that before crunches. It's early, folks. It's early. I got a good night's sleep though, too. That's what's really weird. And then 5 days free. That's the one that I want to talk about here. Link in the description. Get access if you've never signed up with us before. Get access to our projections, ownership, boom bust. You can get access to our lineup generator, brand new tool, up to 20 lineups. We throw out all the ones that we think stink. They're already generated for you. You just sift through them. We've got the player compare tool. Tons of stuff on the back end. Again, 5 days free. If you've never signed up with us before, link is in the description. Now, let's get it started. And boom, there we go. First game up. Indiana Pacers. 4.5-point dogs in Orlando, 233 total. This one's kind of tricky because we got to work Nembhard back in, I think. In theory, it should also be easy. Wild to me that O'Shea Brissett didn't play yesterday. Hold on. For some reason, Apple's thing that you say to the phone just triggered from something that I said there. Man, I had a lot of Indiana yesterday. I wanted that to work out a little bit more, and not just McConnell. Large amounts of Buddy Hield, large amounts of Benedict Mathurin. Those guys came in less owned than I was expecting. Ended up playing well. Didn't matter for me at all. Again, thanks, Tyler Hero. So I got to work Andrew Nembhard back into this. This shouldn't be all that bad. We got to get Nembhard to like 28 minutes, which means that I just got to shave 9 minutes from somewhere. Clearly, they can come from O'Shea Brissett. I don't know why he would be back in the lineup today after not playing yesterday. We'll see how if that actually matters. I'm going to get Nesmith down to 28. So there's one. I'm going to get Mathurin down to 32. There's another. I'm going to get Buddy Hield down to 32. There's another. Wait, no, now I'm losing way too many minutes. I actually think that I might keep the 33 on Hield just for right now. I might actually keep the 33 on Mathurin too. I think he's going to be out there for that kind of playing time. Maybe it's 32 on Mathurin. I'm probably going to spend too much time on Indiana in general. I really, though, wow, Jalen Smith only played 6 minutes. They split with Isaiah Jackson. Okay. Well, I'm going to split with Isaiah Jackson then. But who? I'm going to say they just give Terry Taylor those 14 minutes instead of O'Shea Brissett. I can't imagine we're going to be all that interested in Indiana, but we shall see. Let's look at the Orlando side of this one. Obviously, I don't care too much about Indiana because of the back-to-back. Orlando, not on a back-to-back, so we can do this a little bit easier. And we'll start by saying that everybody's available, which means I don't have any major changes here. They did take Terrence Ross out of the rotation on Monday. I am going to do the same thing. They went to 3, 6. So they went to a 10-man rotation. Obviously, John Isaac was on the 10-minute 10-minute a game plan. Mo Bamba didn't play. Mo Wagner did play. So we're going to correct that issue. We're going to give Mo Wagner 14 minutes. Say that John Isaac plays a little bit there. I don't know if it was technically him or not. Not important. Bull. I can move up in playing time, get his 16 there. Actually, we'll go 6 and 10. 29 for Fultz. I have a hard time ever going more than that. 32 for Paolo, 32 for Franz. Kind of just has to be there. 30 for Wendell Carter Jr. Suggs played a little bit more than I was expecting. Cole Anthony played exactly what I was expecting. Gary Harris can get 2 more minutes. Suggs can get 2 more minutes. So where am I missing those extra 13 minutes? That's what's tricky. Because it naturally just seems like they should go to Terrence Ross. 1, 2, 3. Am I counting this wrong? 3, 6. No, these are the 10 guys that played last time. I'm spending way too much time caring about a team that like is not going to be really fantasy relevant today. I guess I'm just going to give him the Terrence Ross. I don't know who else I would change. I really don't. So, yeah, Bull 16, that's fine. Mo Wagner 14. I guess I could bump up all of those guys. Not going to make a difference. Game number 1, Orlando. All right, I guess it does make a little bit of a difference. Well, it doesn't make a difference to those guys, but Larry, I disagree with you. I do think Orlando looks good. I think Paolo Banchero for 7K looks good today, and he's not going to get any ownership. But I think I'm very much pro Paolo Banchero today. I think he's going to look like an actual good play at 32 minutes. We're talking about a guy with a 28% usage rate when like this normal starting lineup exists. 7K is just not enough. This is Indiana. Let's not forget, this is a massive pace up spot and a not very good team here in Indiana. I like the Orlando side of this one. Wait, did I type that in right? Yeah, I did. Orlando's 4.5 point favorites here. Let's not forget that. I don't mind any of those 4 main dudes. I really don't. Wendell Carter's fine. There's just going to be too many centers to really dig in there. But Franz Wagner is okay at 6,700. Paolo Banchero is underpriced at 7K. I'm planting my flag on Paolo Banchero Hill today. And then on the Indiana side, assuming we do get Nembhard back, I don't think he's that interesting. We're going straight back to TJ McConnell. Now, to me, I think that we should be going to Benedict Mathurin quite a bit. Shooting guard, small forward, 5,400. There's no problems at all going to Miles Turner. Aaron Nesmith projects well. He's not good. And I probably want to take a minute away from him just to make my life a little bit better. So let's do something like that. Yeah, that'll balance out a little bit more. Chris Duarte, even off the bench, I probably needed to shave his minutes too. I didn't notice that I still had him in for what I have him in for. Do something like that. Yeah. McConnell, Mathurin, and Paolo Banchero, they are my 3 favorite pieces coming out of this game. I like this game a lot more than I expected to. No, Helms. Wendell Carter Jr. is center only. All right, we're going to Brooklyn now. Nets are 5.5 point dogs in Philadelphia, 226 total. Now for Brooklyn, this is pretty cut and dry at this point. We have no Kevin Durant, so we just want to make sure that we're getting the rotation correct. 38 minutes for Kyrie is exactly where I want to be. 34 minutes for Royce O'Neal, exactly where I want to be. 33 for Claxton, yes. 30 for Simmons, yes. I got Seth Curry in for 26. I do want to make that 28. I'm going to take 2 more minutes and pop them down there. And then Joe Harris is playing about 24 or 26. I got him in for 26 right now. That works for me. TJ Warren's minutes have been ultra limited as of late, so I'm going to cut him back down, but I think they're going to rebound at least a little bit. We got Yuta Watanabe in for like his standard issue stuff, and then that just leaves me a shit ton of minutes. Edmund Sumner obviously needs to be a part of whatever we're doing here. Still leaves me 6 spillovers, though, which I guess isn't crazy. That's like 1 minute of blowout run. Going to throw those onto Cam Thomas, but I just don't really have any changes to make for Brooklyn. We kind of know what they're doing right now with no Kevin Durant. On the Philly side, we've got Harden is available. Q-tag on Joel Embiid. No Korkmaz. Clearly doesn't matter. Don't think we're making any real changes here other than normalizing the rotation. Now, we did have a Saturday game with no Embiid and no Harden. Obviously, Harden, no problem getting back for it, but no telling for Embiid. My assumption is that I'm just letting this rip the same way that I had it. I guess in theory, I could start lowering PJ Tucker's minutes in place of, I don't know, Matisse Thybulle. Not that that matters at all. I do have Melton in for 24 minutes. Has been playing a little bit more. I'd like to grab him 2 more from somewhere. It's 37 for Harden. I guess I can make that 36 for Harden. I got 31 for Maxey, and I think I'm okay there, especially if he's still coming off the bench. 33 for Tobias Harris. That's just what I have to have. Same for 34 on Embiid. I guess I'll take one more away from Matisse Thybulle there and give those 2 to Melton. But very easy team to project for right now. Not a lot of ambiguity for Brooklyn or for Philly. And if you're playing these guys, I don't find Philly to be very good. No priorities. If I'm getting to anybody, I want it to be Embiid, but I don't really see anything that makes me excited to play anything here. Do need to make one quick change in my sheet. Give me 1 second. Forgot to override a number, and I know it's throwing off some of these calculations. There we go. Yeah, it'll look even worse here. Perfect. Yeah, it's Embiid and very little else. Maybe you want to get to Harden. I don't know. It's not appealing. The Brooklyn side, I unequivocally want to get to Kyrie Irving. That's just a no-brainer still for me at 10-1. He runs the offense. If the game is competitive, it's because Kyrie Irving has to be having a good game. He's got 35% usage. Nobody else is really like above 20. There's just not enough. There's not enough ways for the team to score without it being Kyrie. If you want to get to Nick Claxton, I think it's okay. But Kyrie would be the only thing I'd call a priority. That's 2. Well, the Wizards play today, which means we have no idea how to project this team because they are on a back-to-back. And while he was available, we did not get any minutes for Kendrick Nunn. Now, do I think that that's going to happen today? I do not. I assume Kendrick Nunn is going to see the floor today. Or he's just never going to see the floor for the Wizards. That's probably a more likely scenario. We did get 19 minutes out of Daniel Gafford. Fantastic. Will Barton got dusted off. And they won last night, too. That's what's even crazier here. They beat the Mavs. Will Barton, full-on part of the rotation yesterday. So, good for them, by the way. Will Barton hopping onto the court as the 9th man from yesterday. We got Kuzma playing with the second unit. That's going to be very important to keep an eye on. These are just going to be like cosmetic changes. I want to take Denny down to 30 since he came off the bench. I need to take Kispert up to at least 28, which is going to make him a problem for me because I get him all the time. Monty Morris and DeLon Wright split their minutes like they normally do, so I can get those 2 minutes back. That's leaving me 6 minutes. I feel like I need to maintain the 26 for Gafford. He sort of played like normal rotations, but he did pick up a little bit of foul trouble in the third quarter. Probably lost a minute or two. Well, he lost at least 2 minutes in the third quarter. I'm going to take him down to 24. Okay with the Taj minutes. Actually, I'll probably reduce those Taj minutes and be a little bit more of Anthony Gill, and then I can get my 12 minutes of Will Barton in. Rates don't have to change. We'll see if Kendrick Nunn ends up playing. Andrew, absolutely, there's a chance that Beal sits. I don't really care all that much about Washington right now. Like, these teams on back-to-backs are just not worth actually breaking down, but I just wanted to shift those minutes around. We'll go to Houston. That is the opposite side of this game. Houston, 3.5-point dogs at home with a 230 total. What was my thought process on not adjusting his minutes last night in my sheet? S&P, me being Denny? I didn't need to. I didn't have him. Here, I'll show you. This is why I didn't adjust Denny's minutes last night. Where am I? Because I had 9% Denny. Before, like, that is not 9% after I made my changes. I had 9% heading into the slate. So I didn't adjust anything because I didn't need to. I guess I could show you guys what I had. 80% Luka, 60% TJ, 56% Tyler Hero is what killed me. Chris Paul should have been better. I don't know why he didn't shoot more. He didn't even take a free throw, which is, like it happens from time to time, but really disgusting. How are you going to shoot 18 times in 38 minutes here? I mean, I guess it's just because Charlotte's shit and he played 11 less minutes. He probably takes those same shots if he's actually out there. So the playing time sucked for Chris Paul. Got Buddy Hield absolutely right, 50% at 19. Got Biyombo right, 43%, 2x the field, 31.5 fantasy points. Good enough value. Mathurin hit 7x, 2x plus the field. Joval that's a tough one here. I thought he'd be out there. 18 minutes for Joval, 4 fouls. 14-9, though, in 18 minutes. I mean, we're talking about a guy that had 1.49 fantasy points per minute. It worked. He just didn't play. So I had a bad night. The big problem for me was Tyler Hero. That one submarined everything. Anyway, there's your answer, S&P. All right, Houston Rockets. Don't know who's available here because obviously I know Jabari Smith, I think, is already out. Nope. Just questionable. I thought he was already out. Am I crazy? Did I not see that last night? I could have swore I saw Jabari Smith was already out. Nope, questionable. All right, I'm dumb. Well, then we got to get Jabari Smith back in. Everything else sort of stays the same. It does make it kind of easy. Oh, I never even made that change for Houston. I didn't play Monday's slate, so I never made that update. Cool. I don't even have to make a change here for Houston. This is just exactly what I want it to be. Ooh, actually, they went to Bruno Fernando over Usman Garuba, so I guess I could flip that. That's an easy fix. But it was Ty Washington. Garrison Matthews played. Oh, yeah, Jabari Smith was out. Duh. All right, I'm good here with whatever the hell rotation. Oh, it's Josh Christopher. No, what? Who am I missing here? Okay, so that's when it was Ty Washington. Josh Christopher didn't play. I'm going to give Josh Christopher's minutes to Garrison Matthews. None of this really matters. As we look at Houston, I love Şengün. Again, 8,700. Happy to get there. I got him at 1.4 FanDuel points per minute here against Washington. He should be great. No Kevin Porter Jr. out there. Şengün looks fantastic. Fine if you want to get to Jalen Green, Eric Gordon, or Jabari Smith. I think that's all fine. Don't have a ton of interest in Kmart. But Şengün season, baby. Who were they playing? Washington. Okay, so for Washington, I mean, clearly, like, Denny still looks good at 30 minutes at 4K. I just thought there was enough value at the bottom that I didn't need Denny at that point. I just thought he was a little overowned. Didn't expect him to go for 15 and 10 with 3 steals. But Denny's the best play for the Wizards. Kuzma, Beal, Kispert, all sort of similar in very different ways. Kispert's so bad. He's a guy that I don't really know how to project because he stinks. There we go. 3 games down. Denver now. Another back-to-back here. Nuggets, 7-point dogs in Milwaukee, 225 total. I'm leaving Denver's rotation exactly like it was yesterday. I don't know when we're getting Michael Porter Jr. back, but it feels like there's no chance that's today. Don't know why he would be coming in a back-to-back and just flying into Milwaukee. Yeah, I know Kispert was fine last night. I think he put up like 25 fantasy points or something. Not going to win you anything. But he wasn't the utter death that he normally is. So, yeah, I'm just going to keep this same rotation. I have Bones in for right now. We'll see whether or not that actually happens. If it doesn't, it's a pretty easy fix. We didn't have him last night. You just bump up everybody else. Jamal Murray played 40 minutes last night. I guess I'm going to take him up to 34 just in case. But I can't make any changes to Denver on the back-to-back. Maybe somebody sits, maybe they don't. We don't have that info now. Milwaukee, on the other hand, we do have the info for. No Bobby Portis, who's going to be out for 3 games. That's actually very interesting in that we don't really see Bobby Portis miss a ton of playing. Like, he's around most of the time. So let's think about this here for Milwaukee, because that sort of changes the bench rotation. Now, it's a competitive matchup against Denver. Like, Denver may be 7. Are Denver really 7-point dogs? What's that implying? Huh. That's an interesting one. I feel like we're going to be not getting somebody for Denver, like maybe Jamal Murray. I don't feel like Milwaukee should be multiple point favorites on a neutral court to Denver. Not this Milwaukee, at least. But playoff Milwaukee, maybe. All right, so I'm going to assume with no Portis, we get an extra minute out of Brook Lopez at center. I am going to take Drew Holiday to 34 minutes. George Hill didn't play on Monday. I'm going to assume that is a new thing. Yeah, I think we're not going to not have somebody from Denver, which is fine. All right, Giannis, after being out for 5 games, came back, played 26 and a half minutes. I just really don't feel like I can give him much more than 32 here. I really don't. I just don't think that they're like revving the engine like that. Now, to be fair, they did play Detroit, and Detroit is shitty. Like, really shitty. Giannis did. I don't know if this was just a change in rotation, but does Giannis normally play a staggered fourth quarter rotation? He's just all over the place. Sometimes he plays the whole fucking fourth quarter. So he didn't play. He was very much set up to play at least like 6 more minutes, which would have taken him to like 30. Yeah, I feel good with 32. I don't want to go too crazy. And Jokic isn't a game time decision. He's a nothing. They're on a back-to-back. The Nuggets don't have things like that right now. But it's certainly not game time decision, which is not an injury designation at all. All right, who's going to step into those minutes? Like, I'm certainly not giving Middleton a bunch of playing time. That's for sure. And I don't think Grayson Allen is going to play too much more, but he does seem like the type of guy that can just soak up 2 extra minutes. I know that I need to give Javon Carter more playing time, so that'll get him to 15. Seems like Jordan Nwora probably gets some playing time. Do we get a new backup center? Do they go to... Because like Ingles for 26, I don't, that's whatever. I can get that to 24. Beauchamp can play. Who do they have an available backup? Like, obviously, they don't need us. They could play Thanasis today. None of this. I don't even know why I care. None of these guys are going to matter. We got 26 minutes left. 13 of them are going to Wara. 13 of them are going to Marchand Beauchamp. I'm not adjusting any other rates because these guys just aren't going to look good. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter what I change. I have Giannis at 32 minutes and 11.5. It's going to be hard. Drew Holiday is 9K with everybody back. Brook Lopez, you can go to. You're not playing anybody else from Milwaukee here, especially against Denver. So, not worth the time. Denver, if everybody's in, Jamal Murray still looks good, but he's now up to 7,400. Price is climbing and climbing and climbing. I hope you are jamming him in the mid sixes like I was telling you to do. Bruce Brown's a totally reasonable value play at 5,200. Shooting guard, small forward. Could always play a little bit of Jokic if he's in. It's just not really an interesting fantasy matchup. There's a reason there's a 225 total on that game, too. Now we go to Minnesota. Wolves are 2-point dogs in New Orleans. 231 total. For the Wolves, what do we got? Q-tag on Gobert. No Towns, no Prince, no Jordan McLaughlin. So let's get Prince out of there. I'm assuming Gobert plays. We got 35 minutes of Gobert. So that's a thing. I got him in for 31. I guess I need to make it 32. Don't like that idea, but it has to happen. Slow-mo in for 32. That did not happen last time out, but got to assume that it does again. D'Angelo Russell's minutes have climbed back up again, so I'm going to get him in for 33. Jalen Noel continues to play relatively limited minutes. Aiden McDaniels probably can get up to 32 now that we know that we have no Taurean Prince. Actually going to have some playing time to go around. So we'll go 18 to Noel. 24 to Austin Rivers. Still 36 for Anthony Edwards. That leaves me 17 minutes left over. Okay, so they played Nathan Knight and Gobert they played the centers alongside of each other for a decent chunk of time. Which I assume was mostly Knight and Reed together. So I guess I'm going to... Do they play Matt Ryan? Probably they could. I'm going to say that Nathan Knight plays like 12 minutes here. That soaks up most of what matters. And then I'm just going to throw some spillover minutes on to Bryn Forbes. I don't have rates to change because I had Gobert in anyway. Too smooth. Why would he not be eligible for the NBA draft? You know that he's playing in college right now. You know how this works. I know you do. I know you do. All right. New Orleans Pelicans. Also on a back-to-back, right? So not much we can do here. I guess I'm just going to assume that everybody is in. No, I'm just going to leave the same rotation as yesterday. How the hell can I not do that? I'm going to take down. I know we got Willie Hernangomez yesterday, which is some kind of special bullshit. I don't know if that's going to happen again or not. But at the very least, I got to take 2 minutes away from Joe Val so it doesn't become a thing. I had Willie Hernangomez in for playing time, but it was fake. Not changing New Orleans rotation. I have no idea what they're doing. We had that Q tag on Najee Marshall. We could have Brandon Ingram back. Who the hell knows? Dyson Daniels sprained his ankle last night. That could be a problem. Okay, here we go. S&P. I've been waiting for this. I didn't know who was going to do it. I'm putting it up here right now. If you're getting 3 firsts for OG, you kind of have to do it if you're Toronto. I'm a big OG guy. Here's the key piece of this information. We have no idea what those 3 firsts were. If they're 3 lottery protected firsts, then I don't want those 3 firsts for OG Anunoby. If they're 3 firsts, but 2 of them are from a trade where they're like, Milwaukee's 2025 first or Boston's 2026 first or something like that, then I don't want those first round picks. The reporting on that one is so weird that I don't think that you could really take anything from it. If you told me that it was 3 unprotected firsts from Team X for OG, very different discussion. But if we don't know what those protections are, it's hard to actually give a shit. Because it just makes the report, it just changes, it's grimy reporting. I like CJ for 8,500 if he's in. Trey Murphy as well for 5,300 if he's in. Nothing else that I can say right here about New Orleans. We're actually moving through this faster because of all these back-to-backs. For Minnesota, look, nobody's going to like it, but you should be playing Rudy Gobert tonight. 6,800 for Gobert is a really nice price tag, especially if he can come back after missing basically 5 straight games and go straight into 35.5 minutes. Gobert's the best play from Minnesota. We're halfway done, guys. It's only 7:09. And I don't feel like I'm skipping anything, but Indiana on a back-to-back, Washington on a back-to-back, Denver on a back-to-back, New Orleans on a back-to-back. Philly's rotation doesn't change. Houston's rotation doesn't change. Orlando's basically the same team all the time. This is, and Atlanta, this isn't going to be any different unless somebody's out. They do the same shit every time. Is somebody out? Q tag on DeAndre Hunter, Q tag on Onyeka Okongwu. That's just I have those guys in. I mean, S&P, I'm of the opinion that I would not be trading OG Anunoby. My opinion is that they should be trying to trade Fred VanVleet. OG Anunoby to me is the guy that I would want to keep as much as I could. Because I think no matter what you want to build in the future, OG Anunoby fits that team perfectly. He's the guy that I would never get rid of. If you tell me that OG Anunoby is the 3rd best guy on a championship level team, I think that's fine. I'd be more likely to trade Siakam and Fred VanVleet. Anunoby would be the least likely guy I would want to trade just because of fit. It depends where those lottery tickets are coming from and how far out they are. That's really all there is for me. I mean, the Lakers can get Fred VanVleet if they want Fred VanVleet. That would not be hard for them to do. If the Lakers wanted Fred VanVleet, they'd have him. Atlanta Hawks. 1-point dogs in Oklahoma City's a 1-point favorite against the Hawks today. Holy shit, Oklahoma City is legitimately good. Whoo. Man, can we talk about OKC just for a brief second? Just a second. Can we talk about how this team is actually plus 0.2 this season? They are, now that may be 19th, but they have a positive point differential. They have the 9th ranked defense in the league. This is a team that doesn't start a real center. The easiest way to have a good defense is to just have a good center. It's the most simple mechanism to get yourself to the top. Oklahoma City is cobbling this together in a bizarre way. They've been the best team in the league relative to their point differential, or relative to the spread by a mile. Their average point differential relative to the spread is +5. That's 2.5 points better than anybody else. Nobody thought Oklahoma City was going to be any good, and they just keep being good. They are insane. Insane. I want these guys. I cannot. Can you? I just want Chet to be healthy. It's such a bummer. Yeah, I mean, if I'm like, I would be doing everything in my power to try to get out of Siakam. Not that I don't like Siakam. I would do. He's the perfect guy to cash in my opinion. Because he's good. But it's just like the perfect way to like get him as he starts to plateau, take steps down over the next few years. Just take the haul that you can get from Team X, whatever that may be. It's out there for you if you want it. Anyway, Oklahoma City are favorites against Atlanta. I am assuming that Atlanta's rotation looks like it normally does. Hunter and Okongwu both didn't play on Monday. They're questionable today, which means I project them in. We did get 36 minutes out of Clint Capella on Monday. Holy shit. Now, do I think that's going to happen again? No. But we will go 26-22. John Collins played big minutes. I mean, they leaned on all the starters with those guys out. We know what this rotation looks like otherwise, so it's all fine to me. Oh, I mean, roll tide. There's unequivocally, Oklahoma City is going to be shooting for the playoffs. Now, the West is a minefield. They're going to be a lot better next year. A lot better. Oh, hopefully they get another lottery pick, too. And then I think next year they've already got 3. I think they have 3 firsts for next year. Let me make sure I'm right here. Real GM future picks. OKC for next season. So this year they only have, like, they don't have anything good. 24. They have next year's Houston pick. Houston is dog shit. Next year's Houston pick, top 4 protected. So that could be as high as the number 5 pick. They've got the Clippers first next year, unprotected. And then they've got Utah's pick, their own, obviously. At least I assume. Yeah, their own. And then they have Utah's first rounder, top 10 protected, which will be borderline. So they can conceivably pick like 5th, 11th, and wherever the hell they finish. And then we start getting into like their crazy good swaps. A lot of their assets are deep into the future. They're in such great shape. It's insane. Speaking of Oklahoma City, we shall project them now. By the way, guys, 144 people in here. I haven't looked at the likes yet. I'm going to say that it says 47. 40. Even worse. It breaks my heart. Hit that like button if you haven't done it yet, folks. Help me out here. Help me out here. Yeah, Larry, that came out yesterday or 2 days ago or something. All right, no Poku, no JRE. Not a ton here that I'm worried about fixing. Let's get Mike Muscala back down to his little 14 minutes a game. Lindy Waters wasn't the guy. They went to Baisley, which means that it's probably Waters today. There's 10 minutes for Baisley. Got 34 in for Shea. I can make a case that should be 35. And I'm going to do so he shows up. Giddey for 32, Dort for 31. I think they both need to be 31. Jalen Williams, 31 as well. Okay, we're good. I mean, if I'm Oklahoma City, I would give 3 decent picks to Toronto for OG, and I wouldn't even bat an eye at it. That's a no-brainer option for them. All right, let's see what we've got here for this one. Yeah, 9,800 for Shea. If he's going to be playing 35 minutes a game here against an Atlanta team that I believe is one of the worst defenses in the league, don't be afraid to do that, especially if you get no Okongwu, no Hunter. Really, really, really like Shea there. Williams, Giddey, Dort are guys that you could rotate through. And then Atlanta, I'll continue to like DeJounte Murray at 8,200. I think he projects decently enough. Trey, Collins, both fine. No major priorities here, though. I always project DeJounte Murray well. Now, if we want to talk about games that I desperately want to watch, the Memphis Grizzlies are 2.5-point dogs in Golden State, 239 total. This is a good one. This is a real good one. John Brooks are available. No Steven Adams, though. He is out for a while. John Conchar out as well. Now, as weird as this sounds, Steven Adams being out for this matchup probably doesn't matter at all because he's... Like, if Memphis and Golden State play in the playoffs, Steven Adams basically won't play. They're going to need to go to somebody else defensively. But now, I assume we're going to get some combination of Tillman and Clark again. Monday was a little bit different. I don't know if they're... Like, they got the shit kicked out of them by Sacramento in that fourth quarter. It got ugly late. Basically a 30-2 run for all intents and purposes. That's tough to deal with. They actually started Tillman. I just don't know if they're going to do that again. It feels like they should be moving Brandon Clark into the starting lineup, but I'm going to assume that they don't. I'm going to go 26 Tillman, 22 Clark. I think that's the direction they end up going here. No John Conchar as well. He's got a concussion. So now, who steps in? What did they go to? David Roddy? Yeah, they went to David Roddy. Get David Roddy in for 11 minutes, and I think we're good. Not only that, S&P, but obviously the Thunder have like some young players they can send over as like lottery tickets too. You know, if they wanted to ship out Darius Baisley, who I think would be interesting for Toronto. If you want to do Ousmane Dieng or Aaron Wiggins. I don't think they want to get rid of Isaiah Joe at this point. Poku, send him over. You got a lot of additional options there. Man, this Memphis Golden State game is going to be so good. I mean, Houston's going to have a lot of money, that's for sure. I just don't know where you can spend it. There's nothing out there. Like, does Kyrie want to go play in Houston? I doubt it. How much can you promise Draymond Green? Like, there's no free agent options. That's the problem here. All right, for Golden State, not a lot to change here. They're going to be at full strength. Somehow, Anthony Lamb is no longer a part of the rotation. Kuminga just appears to be in it. I think it's less likely if that continues for Lamb. I think I'm okay with this rotation. Is Steph going to play like 35 minutes? He just might. He just might. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so for Golden State, I don't mind any of the starters. Poole, Curry, Green, Clay, Wiggins. I'd say Wiggins is my favorite 6K. Just he's got the MPE. I honestly think Jordan Poole might be second just from a minutes perspective. He's just going to be out there a lot. But any one of those 5 starters for Golden State, I think, are viable here, particularly in this matchup. For Memphis, it's got to be $3,200 Tillman, assuming he's starting again. You know, he's not the best per minute guy in the world, but he's 0.9. And if he's a starting center at 3,200, you got to take that shot. Morant, Bane, Brooks, Jackson, I think they all basically look the same. You want to roll the dice on Brandon Clark, it's a viable value option. 3 to go. Utah Jazz, 4-point dogs in Portland, 237 total in this one. We have, let's see, what do we know for Utah? Just know Kelly Olynyk. So we're not making changes to this rotation, right? Colin Sexton played a little bit less. I'm going to ding him a minute, or 2 minutes rather, get him down to 24. Vanderbilt got up to 21. So they basically split Vanderbilt and Kessler, and then they had the, basically blowout run. So I'm going to go 27-21 Kessler and Vanderbilt. I got Markkanen in for 34. Talen Horton-Tucker in for 11. Rudy Gay gets some run. Akbaji Utah is just easy to project. They don't really mess around at this point. Yeah, look, Harden could make that team look really, really good. I just don't know what they're going to do. Spot track NBA. Let's look at something quickly. I can't help myself in these scenarios. So I know it exists here. Is it positional spending now? Free agents. Point guards. Now, let's say, who's playing the most minutes right now? So, Kyrie, unrestricted. Obviously, Houston would be happy to... Obviously, somebody would be happy to sign Kyrie. Ignoring all of the Kyrie bullshit, Kyrie Irving would be a great free agent signing. Fred VanVleet's got a player option. That's, I guess, in theory, could be Fred VanVleet. He could just... Because he's not going to pick that up, right? He's going to decline that player option and become a free agent. Fred VanVleet would stabilize that team to a degree that would be very interesting savings. I actually don't mind that at all. D'Angelo Russell would not help them. D'Angelo Russell is sort of just like a better version of KPJ. Trey Jones is restricted. That's really not a direction you want to go. Schroeder's stinks. Russ stinks. Dosunmu is a free agent. That's not really what you're looking for. In a way, it kind of is. If you want somebody that isn't going to have a ton of usage. I don't know why the fuck Javon Carter's on there twice. Point guard's just bleak. There's not a lot out there that you can do. If I'm Houston, I'm throwing a bag at Fred VanVleet. And I say that as someone that's not a big Fred VanVleet's future career prospects guy. And I think that he would be overpaid. but the stabilization that he would bring that team would be staggering. It would just slot everybody into place more. And you could dial back Fred VanVleet's usage a little bit. I would like it. Obviously, he can play off the ball when Jalen Green has it, and he's running. If Jalen Green's running like a 2-man game or off the ball with Şengün, that's the play there for Houston. Now, the problem for Houston is that, like, I'm sure Orlando would want to do that same thing. In the grand scheme of things, Detroit should. Who the hell knows what they're doing, though? So, a lot of competition. Fred VanVleet's going to get a ton of money because a lot of teams want his skill set. And he could just end up back in Toronto. That's my talk on point guards for the Rockets today, guys. Now, back to the Portland Trail Blazers. My assumption about the Houston James Harden reporting is just like creating phony leverage. There's no way. I can't see a scenario where James Harden wants to go to Houston. He's going to guarantee himself never winning. JJ, there's basically no way that Bradley Beal could leave Washington. Who would want him? That's a negative value contract. No, SMP, we're on the same page. It's going to be a bad contract at the end for Fred VanVleet, but in a way that, like, it's also going to be, unless he just fully falls off athletically, he's at least the sort of bad contract that will be a smart like he's a good basketball player in general. It's not going to be like Russ where like he's going to give up playing defense. Like Fred VanVleet's still going to be a shooter as he ages. So like it'll be bad, but it can still fit in the right lineups when it doesn't have to run everything. He's got a skill set that can age a little bit better. It might look ugly. It will look ugly. For sure. Portland. I mean, we're not changing anything for Portland, right? They don't. It's just, that's the Portland rotation through and through. I don't have a single change to make here for Portland. They're the same team every day. And if you want to play any one of the Portland starters, by all means. As per usual, I would prefer Anthony Simons just because, especially against Utah. Like, Simons is the kind of guy that I want to get in that spot. On the Utah end, I don't think that anything is really all that playable for the Jazz. Not a great game. The team we've been talking about quite a bit here, the Toronto Raptors, 3.5-point dogs in Sacramento, 238 total. What do we got for Toronto? Q-tag on OG Anunoby, convenient. Q-tag on Delano Banton, doesn't matter. Yeah, how old is Fred VanVleet? He's only 28. Jesus, it feels like he's been around forever. You know, you sign him for a 4-year deal at 30, you know, he's going to get like 4 for 120. It's really not going to look as bad as it seems. It's really not. I mean, like, I don't think he's aging well, but 29, 30, 31, 32, like there are way worse contracts signed. All right, for the Raptors, I assume that they are just at their normal full strength. Give me 1 second, guys. Am I dumb? Don't answer that, by the way. Yeah, I gotta be dumb. Did I just not do this? I've been looking at something this entire time, and I actually think that I've been looking at it wrong. Not that it affects anything that we've done, just talking out loud. Yeah, sure did. I am a moron. I am a moron. There we go. There we go. Right, like at least you have that salary slot then as ballast to trade it out 4 years from now. Look, we're also going to get the new TV deal where the average player salary is going to be like $12 million a year. We're going to be fine. If I'm Houston, I would give Fred VanVleet basically whatever he wants. I mean, I would start with Kyrie, but maybe I wouldn't. God, that's so hard. What do you do with Kyrie Irving? He's just got to go to a team that's already good with like stars that won't take his shit. He can't lead that team. That's the point I want to make. He can't go to Houston. He's got to go to LA, which I don't think that he could do anymore. Toronto. Do I have this right? Yeah, all the starters in for 37 minutes or whatever. We're good. 24 for Precious. Sure. If OG ends up out, we probably give a bunch more minutes to Precious. But if OG's in, it's just standard Toronto. Don't forget, guys, Toronto's facing Sacramento here. This is an incredible spot for the Raptors. Sacramento. Everybody's available except for Metu with a Q tag. Again, they don't need to move off of KPJ. They need to move him into a slightly different role. That's the issue. He does like KPJ just doesn't. I think he's on like a pretty friendly contract. Yeah, like he's on 4 years, starting next year. 4 years, basically $16 million a year. But the second year of that deal is non-guaranteed. There's only a $1 million guarantee. It's mostly unguaranteed. The second year of that deal is non-guaranteed. And then the third year is a team option non-guaranteed. So that can be like sixth man money. It's really not a contract that matters to the Rockets at all. He can be a part of whatever. And because it's non-guaranteed, they could trade him and he can be cut and it won't matter at all. Yeah, look, Sacramento's really good. They have no chance of winning anything of value because of why they're good, but they're a really good regular season team. No problem saying that, but they have no opportunity to succeed in the playoffs. Just none whatsoever. Whoever gets to play Sacramento in the first round is happy as hell. That's a dream scenario. I don't have any changes to make here for Sacramento either. I mean, this is a team that just runs the same sort of rotation out every night. Big minutes to Sabonis, big minutes to Barnes, big minutes to Fox. I'm going to go 35 to all of those guys. I don't know about so good, but definitely an easy fit. Okay, so they went. Oh, yeah, this ended up being the blowout. Insane blowout. Monk's playing time has just been so weird this year. This is a really easy game to project. Now, for Sacramento, I, once again, like $8,400 De'Aaron Fox. I think he's the best play from Sacramento. I don't mind getting to Sabonis. It's just hard. Barnes, Murray, Herter all look solid. But what I'm really interested in is this. Toronto Raptors, 9,600 for Siakam. Like, I would just rather have Siakam than Sabonis, given the salaries. Like, Sabonis is 10-4. Siakam's 9,600. That's an $800 savings. Those guys don't have different projections. They just don't. But any one of the Raptors starters, like one of the Raptors starters is going to be good for 5x plus 10 today. we're on the same page, S&P. I don't want to compare him to OG Anunoby because that's clearly like not the same sort of player. He's just a guy that's going to fit really well with anybody that he does, but he's not anybody that's going to ever be like the best player or second best player on a really good team. He's going to be a cog in the machine. Now, I don't know if that's something you want to take at 4 or 5. It probably ends up being that good, but I don't see him being able to do like to really change games. But as a piece that just fits, I think that's going to be fine. Memphis better than Sacramento? Do you mean like real life, JJ? Because it's not even remotely close. If you mean for like today in DFS, that's a different conversation, I guess. San Antonio Spurs late night hammer, 6.5 point dogs in LA. Romeo Langford is questionable. Yeah, I mean Memphis and Sacramento are not even in the same stratosphere in real life. They're not close. I would expect Memphis to sweep Sacramento or win in 5 games if they played in the playoffs, and they wouldn't even break a sweat doing it. Basically, like down the line for every position, everybody on Memphis is better. Like, I'd rather have everybody in Memphis's starting 5 than Sacramento's when it comes to the playoffs. Like, Ja's a better version of De'Aaron Fox. Desmond Bane is a better version of whoever you want to pick on the wing. I'd rather have Dillon Brooks than like Harrison Barnes, I guess, but they're comparable. Jaren Jackson is better than whatever you want to trot out there at center. I don't want to compare Adams to Sabonis because Adams isn't going to be that guy in the playoffs. You can't play Domantas Sabonis in the playoffs at center. It's an impossibility. Yeah, Aldo, I don't give a shit about the game the other night. It's crazy how one game is meaningless. Yeah, look, Danny Green is going to help them. I know that sounds ridiculous, but you get Danny Green being able to play like 12 or 14 minutes and knock down a bunch of threes and play a little bit of defense. That's just it's an asset to have. It's a great break in case of emergency guy in the playoffs. Is Sohan playing more? Not really. Why is he being projected differently? It's stupid. I'm not changing San Antonio because they're the same. If Romeo Langford happens to be out, pick another moron from San Antonio. For the Lakers on the back-to-back, unfortunately, we actually have to re-project this Lakers team. It's the first team that we've actually had to gut from the beginning because AD is back today, and they've got Rui now. So I don't know how the hell they're going to do this. I have no idea what they're going to do with Anthony Davis in his first game back after being out for a month. Look, the result of any individual games in the regular season is utterly meaningless. Utterly meaningless. All right, let's say that AD plays 24 minutes. And then I'm going to say that Thomas Bryant plays 20. And then we get another 20 of Rui Hachimura. Nope, we're going to get less than that. I might give less minutes to Thomas Bryant now, actually. Unless they're willing to... Yeah, we can kind of make a case for Rui at the 3. Get LeBron out there for 36. 16 for Rui at the 4. We'll see what opens up. Schroeder continues to play 33. Pat Bev gets in for 28. And then Russ goes in for 30. We get Troy Brown in for 26. I'm going to unearth another 4 minutes for Rui. And now I still have 23 minutes left for, look, in theory, it should be Wendy and Gabriel, because I think he's the best guy of what's left. Positionally, that just doesn't work. Unless they're going to stop playing Thomas Bryant, which is possible. And they probably should. We also have Juan Toscano Anderson, who, again, does not fit positionally with this team. They just don't. I don't know where the rest of these minutes are going to go. It seems like Max Christie just has to keep playing. I'm going to give Max Christie 14 minutes. I guess I'll give Wendy and Gabriel 9. I don't have a great feel there. None of that should matter. What we do need to do, though, is gut the rates for the Lakers. The final thing that we're doing is like I don't want to say the most important thing that we're going to do, but it's the team that we got to pay attention to the most. Games where LeBron James and AD have both started. Games where Russell Westbrook did not start, but did play. Let's hit the super chat here from Wade. In a 2021 redraft, where is Franz Wagner? Let me look at it. So I think Mobley goes 1. And I think he has to. If it's me, Franz goes 2 to the Rockets. I think he's not going any lower than 4. You've got Cade, Barnes, and Giddey. I don't think Şengün can get all the way up there because he's a center. And I don't think that there's anybody else in this draft that has made any sort of leap. No lower than 4. I take him before Barnes, unequivocally. I take Cade before I take him, but that's starting to get to a point where I don't agree with what I'm saying. No lower than 4. No lower than 4. It's a good question, though. I mean, he didn't really fall off. He didn't really fall off. He shouldn't have gotten the Rookie of the Year. That's where the issue lies. It wouldn't look as bad if they just didn't give him the award. That would have been a much smarter way to do it. All right, let's get these rates done for LA so we can get done here. LeBron with the 31% usage rate. Now that AD is back. AD gets the 27. Dennis Schroeder is at like 15. Russ is at 26.5. We'll go 27. Tommy Bryce just maintains his 19. I mean, I don't think it was fake. I mean, to me, he was second, but I don't think that he should have won over Mobley. All right, AD assists, no. Schroeder assists, no. LeBron assists, no. Russ probably down. Nope. Oddly enough, somehow up. Bump that bad boy. Thomas Bryant. I don't even know why I would look at Thomas Bryant's assists like that's a real thing. Rebounding. AD. A little bit of a bump. Schroeder surely is irrelevant. LeBron, I imagine, goes down. Stays the same. Russ, exactly the same. Thomas Bryant, that has to go down. Yeah, sizably. Alrighty. For the Lakers, unplayable. Totally. Across the board. I don't see a scenario where you can play LeBron James. LeBron James is now small forward, power forward on DraftKings. I guess they got it right now that AD is back, but okay. And then finally, Spurs, which I assume also don't look all that great, although it's a great matchup. Trey Jones, Jakob Poeltl, Zach Collins, standard issue stuff for San Antonio. This isn't a good slate. I didn't really enjoy anything that we just looked at. Let's run some crunches and see what we're missing here. Because we just went through 10 games, and I don't feel like I talked about a single thing that was interesting. That was like the most boring breakdown we've ever had. Larry, he was a center on DraftKings yesterday. All right, let's start on FanDuel. For FanDuel Optimals. If you haven't hit that like button yet, please do so. This is really tough at the top. We're going to look at Optimals first. Now, before we look at Optimals, we got to talk about BetMGM. You can get 2 free months of Stokastic Plus Platinum, which is over a $300 value. Take that savings that you would get from signing up. Use that as your bankroll at BetMGM because your first bet is essentially insured up to $1,000. So take whatever the value is of the 2 free months, take $350 and plop that down on your first bet. Even take like a decent underdog. If it wins, you just move forward with that money in your bankroll. If it loses, you'll get that entire amount back as bonus bets in your account. So you basically get a second run at it. It's an incredible deal, and I think there's only like a day or two of it left. So please take advantage because this one's getting yanked away, and it's not going to look as good after this. You got to be 21 or over. Please be responsible about it. If you've got a gambling problem, if you think you've got a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. Optimals on FanDuel. Yeah, like here we go. 319.78. It's the optimal by 0.29. Trey Jones, TJ McConnell, Anthony Simons, Benedict Mathurin, Denny, Banchero, Siakam, Brandon Clark, and Şengün. That's disgusting. Backups. 3 guys that are going to come off the bench today in Denny, Brandon. This is a 10-game slate, and 3 bench guys showed up in my optimal lineup. Denny Avdia, Benedict Mathurin, and Brandon Clark. I mean, what do you do there? I assume when I run this power rankings crunch, everything looks like garbage. If I tell everybody Anthony Simons is my top play, that's not going to work. So I might need to change some minutes here. Yeah, please just let it be TJ McConnell. No one's going to bat an eye at that. But if it's Trey Murphy or Anthony Simons, I can't record that video. Okay, it's TJ McConnell's the number 1 contender for today. Thank God. Thank God. If I tried telling somebody it was Trey Murphy today, I would get laughed out of this entire industry. Şengün climbing too. That helps. Yes, be TJ and Şengün. Everybody will shut the hell up. Thank God. TJ McConnell, Alperen Şengün, Trey Murphy, Anthony Simons, Benedict Mathurin, top 5. Avdia, Collins, Irving, Jeremy Grant, and Jordan Poole rounded out. Let's go to the DraftKings side now. Appreciate you guys being here. Don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. We are up to 71 likes. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's get up to 100. Can we do it? It feels like it's the kind of day where we can do that. Larry, you shush. We don't want to talk about that kind of stuff. All right, DraftKings Optimals. Almost done here. 290.41. It's the optimal lineup by 0.26. TJ McConnell, Corey Kispert, fuck, Benedict Mathurin, Paolo Banchero, Alperen Şengün, SGA, Denny Avdia, and Jakob Poeltl. That is, look, I know Kispert stinks, but if he's going to play 34 minutes against Houston, I assume Houston's bad at giving up threes because they're just ultra shit. Let's look that up. 4 factors. No, sorry. Shooting. 7 rebounds here for Kispert. That's a thing. Let's see. How frequent do they give up threes? Defensive frequency, all threes. Houston is dead last. Houston gives up 41% of their shot attempts from 3, including the most non-corner threes. Look, this is as good of a spot as you're going to get for Corey Kispert. Let's just put that out there right now for 3,100, assuming he starts against the Rockets. Because he's just going to be able to shoot as much as he wants. We got to get over the fact that he's a 0.55 fantasy point per minute guy, one of the 10 worst plays in the league. I don't hate that optimal. I really don't. I really, really don't. And I don't hate the idea of swapping out Andrew Wiggins in for the Jakob Poeltl piece. That seems fine to me. But again, this is an unappealing on paper slate where everything sort of looks the same. All right. Power rankings on DraftKings. By all accounts, it seems like Denny Avdia is going to be the number 1 option. Which, honestly, kind of makes me regret not playing him yesterday if he's still showing up like this today. But that's also what happens when you get to face Houston in Houston. Denny Avdia is going to be number 1. And then everything else is just this flat blur. Anthony Simons, TJ McConnell, Klay Thompson, Paolo Banchero, Jeremy Grant, Benedict Mathurin, Trey Murphy, Xavier Tillman, and Alperen Şengün. This is so gross. It's not funny. But we are done, folks. Another process in the books. 2 more days left this week of process shows. You do not get me on the strategy show today. Apologies yesterday for the technical issues. Laffy and I just could not get that show to start, unfortunately. I think you get Laffy and Adam today on the strategy show. You get myself and Adam later today for the deeper dive. Make sure you're hitting that like button. S&P, I appreciate having you. I appreciate having everybody here. I don't want it to sound like I'm singling anybody out, but thank you guys for being here. It's been a fun one. We're back again tomorrow doing the same thing we always do, breaking down every team, breaking down every rotation. This was the process.